Today, I'm going to be making a tier list for you guys. Before I start talking about the tier list, I just want to mention a couple of things that's coming to a little mini update for Project Slayers this Saturday. First, we're getting ad confirmed to deleting items. Thank goodness, because I don't know if this happened to you guys before, but I've accidentally deleted a Rengoku katana from my inventory trying to actually equip it to repair it. So she's adding a confirmed to deleting items, which is pretty good. We really need that. I am sick and tired of accidentally deleting items from my inventory. Next, we have add ability to see title progress in menu, which is pretty cool, I guess. Some balance changes. Did she just edit this? Anyways. Restore Devour Polar back to original prices. As you guys may know, the Devour and Polar sets are only at 75,000 right now, which I think the original price is 150,000, which is the maximum amount of win that you can hold in game. Add new titles. Now I don't know what titles she's adding, but I know two titles that are going to be obtainable. It's going to be the content creator and it's going to be the tester titles. Now obviously the tester titles are going to only be for testers who are actual testers in the group, and the content creator titles are only going to be for official content creators of Project Slayers. So you're gonna get the content creator title if Project Slayers recognize you as a Project Slayer content creator, and I'm pretty sure that title and the tester title is gonna get buffs to it. So I don't know what their buffs are going to be, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna get buffs. Next up, she is going to add stat equipment slots for people to swap out all equipped stats with button 1, button 2 for free and more with game passes. So basically what this means is, I think it's just like a layout so you can swap out stats with 1 button and 2 for free and more with game passes. So you're gonna have 2 layouts for free. You're gonna have layout 1 and layout 2, and it's just 1 button that you click to swap out stats and whatnot, which is pretty good, a good idea. I was actually thinking about this a couple of days ago, and it's good to see that she's gonna add this to the game. But she's gonna add 2 new hats that weren't added in the new update 1.5. so I don't know what those hats are going to be. I'm pretty sure she sneaked it, or they sneaked it on Twitter. I'm lazy to find them right now. I don't even know if I'm right. I don't even know if she sneaked it, but yes, 2 new hats are coming in the new update, or mini update. And then if you look at the change logs, added progress on titles that require a progression to unlock. So apparently this is something new. They're gonna have like a little progress thing, so 40%, which is pretty cool. It basically tells you how far or how long until you unlock the title. So for Akuma, you have to deal 1 million total damage. You're 40% done. That is about 400,000 damage that you've dealt. Selling items with 1 million when 0%. And if you actually scroll up here in the change logs, you can see that she buffed the Polar and the Devour katanas at tier 3, so now they're more OP than ever. She also nerfed the Warframe Tornado scaling. And that's pretty much all I have to share for you for the new update that's coming out in 2 days. On to the tier list. Now for tiers, we have top tier, pretty good, mediocre, okay, and meh. This tier list is going to be slightly oriented to the PvP side of things, so everything is going to be slightly more favorited towards PvP wise, with a little bit of PvE taken into consideration. But to be honest, every demon art and breathing in this game is pretty doable for grinding. Like, there isn't really any demon art or breathing that is bad for grinding. I kind of take that back. Insect is kind of terrible for grinding. But the point I'm trying to make is you can make it do with everything in this game for grinding. As for PvP, not really. I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers, so if you guys could please help me out with that, I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys like the video. Let's try to get 500 likes on this video. And with that being said, we're gonna start with the demon arts. Now the first demon art on the list I have is Ice Demon Art, as you may know, the newest thing. And for PvP, this thing is completely broken. It is good for PvP and it's pretty decent for PvE, and it's actually not bad for dungeons. It's actually really good for dungeons. Of course, there's other better stuff that you can use for dungeons, but it's not a bad choice to pick if you're going into dungeon. Now the counter, which is the second move on this thing, is completely broken. The cooldown is very short and you can hold the counter for like 30 seconds. You can hold it for so long. And not to mention, if somebody is comboing you, you can actually spam it and sometimes get out of a combo, so you can escape combos with this sometimes. It's not really a very good thing to rely on, but it works sometimes. Now I personally never really used Swamp BDA to grind, but it's pretty good for PvP. I fought a lot of Swamp users in the past, and I mean, it's mostly cringe. Most of them just uses double jump, runs away, and just uses their Swamp moves. It's just really stupid and cringy, but it's still a pretty good BDA to pick for PvP, and it's not that bad for grinding. If you're soloing bosses, it's pretty good to use actually, so yes. Although with that being said, Swamp did get a couple nerfs in the past, and I do feel like it does not deserve to be on the top tier section of the tier list. So I'm gonna put it on the pretty good section of the tier list. Now this one might be a little bit controversial, but like I said, this tier list is completely my opinion. I'm gonna put Dream on pretty good right behind Swamp, being probably the third best BDA in the game in my opinion. And this is a little bit controversial, as some of you might say Blood is better than Dream, or Akaza is better. And honestly, when it comes down to this section of my tier list, it's pretty much opinion rather than facts. Because if somebody said Blood is better than Dream, I'm not really gonna get mad at them. If somebody says Akaza is better than Dream in PvP, I'm still not gonna get mad at them, because in a way they're kind of right, and it really depends on your fighting style. But in my opinion, I would rather use Dream than Akaza or Blood in PvP. I'm pretty sure they've nerfed Dream a little bit, and the X move, you can't really abuse it as much anymore. And there's better ultimates, but there is still a lot of combo potential you can do with this demon art. And not to mention, you can fight multiple people with this demon art, unlike other breathings and certain stuff like that. So I'm gonna put it right behind Swamp in the pretty good section. Now, like I said before, if you want to put Akaza above this, or Blood above this, or even Speed Demon Art Reaper above this, then I'm gonna put Akaza right behind Dream in the pretty good section, as Akaza is pretty good for PvP and PvE. It's really excellent for PvE and grinding, and it's decent for PvP. Now the main reason why I put Akaza behind Dream is that Akaza is harder to combo with than Dream. You're most likely to mess up your combo with Akaza than you're most likely to mess up your combo with Dream. Now if you're fighting a good Akaza user, I can definitely see Akaza being better than Dream in PvP. But otherwise, it's still a pretty good demon art. Now this tier list wasn't a little bit PvP oriented. I would probably put Akaza above Dream, as Akaza is better for farming and boss farming and certain things like that. And now we're going to talk about Blood, which I'm going to put right behind Akaza on the pretty good section, and Reaper, which I'm going to put behind Blood on the pretty good section. Now both of these things are really good, and honestly I know a lot of you are going to get mad at me for putting Reaper behind Blood or Reaper behind Dream, but honestly every Reaper user I fight is really predictable. Most Reaper users are just going to spam the ultimate and run away, and if you have Ice BDA, it is so easy, and I mean so easy to just counter that. With the new update, I feel like Reaper is just useless, because if you are fighting an Ice BDA person, you're not really going to do anything unless you know what you're doing and you're baiting out their counter. Now of course Reaper has some excellent combo extender moves, but like I said before, most Reaper users nowadays just spam their ultimate and run away in PvP. So now for the PvE side of this, it is a pretty good choice to have, and honestly it's not that bad. There's definitely other better options you can choose for PvE, but honestly it is pretty great for PvE. Now for Blood, which I put right above Reaper demon art, the grab move is still stupidly broken. The hitbox is retarded, and you can definitely still abuse it. Even the nerfs that I got in the past, I still feel like it's not nerfed enough. I feel like the nerfs in the past kind of justified this a little bit. This demon art is still definitely an annoying demon art to fight, and honestly for PvP it's still pretty good. It's still viable. Now the nerfs that it got, it did do it some justice, and it's not as good as it was before, so I definitely say there's better choices to pick than this. If you're boss farming with this demon art, it's not a bad choice, although I still feel like Reaper is just better for farming than Blood, but that is just my opinion. And overall, it's not a bad choice to pick Blood demon art for PvP or PvE, but I do feel like Ice is just going to completely counter it. So if you're fighting an Ice person in PvP, you're probably at a disadvantage. And then the last two demon arts on the list, which is Arrow and Tamari, and obviously you probably expected this to be on the bottom of the list. Arrow I'm going to put on the mediocre side of this tier list, and Tamari I'm going to put on the okay side. Now I feel like the developers should show these demon arts a little bit more love and buff them a little bit, especially Tamari. Now the reason why I put Tamari behind Arrow is because Tamari isn't as easy to hit as Arrow, and I also feel like Arrow is a little bit more easier to combo extend for PvP, and they're both pretty mediocre for grinding. I mean, it's okay, I guess. Definitely not my first choice of pick. There's not really much to say with these two. They're pretty self-explanatory. If you've been playing the game for a while now, they're not that good. And there's definitely other things that I would pick besides these two, but if you're a fan of Tamari demon art or Arrow demon art and you want to use it in PvP, it's still viable. You can still combo with it, and you could still probably get a couple wins here and there, but definitely if you're fighting an Ice user, it's going to be very challenging, and you're most likely not going to win because Ice is just completely unfair with his counter. Alright, now we are on the breathing side of this tier list. We have finished the demon side of this tier list. As you can see, we have Ice on top, we have Swamp, Dream, Akaza, Blood, and Reaper on the pretty good section, and then we have Arrow on the mediocre section and Tamari on the okay section. Now we're gonna start off with Flame Breathing. Now like I said before, this is a slightly PvP oriented tier list, and I'm not gonna lie, Flame Breathing is really underrated. Is it the best breathing in the game? No, I don't think it's the best breathing in the game. So what is the best breathing in the game? That is a really hard question to answer, as I don't really know. So flame breathing, I'm gonna put on the top tier list, and I'm also gonna put wind on the top tier list. Now these two breathings are great for PvP and PvE. Flame is slept on and wind is a little bit more slept on since it's just a map 1 breathing, but wind is actually pretty good for PvP and PvE. Pretty much every single move for flame is a combo extender. Now just because every move is a combo extender doesn't mean it is a good breathing or demon art, as most of the things you could do in this game is combo extending and infinite combos. The thing I like about flame is that you can kinda fight 2v1s with this. And then if you have never fought an actual good wind user, or if you've ever used wind before, then you would know that wind is actually pretty good for PvP. Now for mist, I'm gonna put on the pretty good section right behind swamp, as I think mist is better than dream, akaza, blood, and reaper. The only thing that I think that messes up mist is the ultimate, as the ultimate is pretty useless in PvP, but for grinding it is a pretty good breathing and a pretty good choice, and overall it is pretty solid, as you can combo extend with this, and it's not that bad of an option. Next is sound, and honestly sound is not all that. I'm gonna be honest with you, sound is pretty good. I'm gonna put on a pretty good section right behind mist. If I'm being completely honest with you, yes, every single move on sound you could combo extend, but the thing is with sound is that it's predictable, 1. 2, if you're fighting an ice user, the ultimate is completely pointless. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the ultimate is really pointless. Now, and to be completely honest, I feel like there's better breathings for PvP and PvE. Now for the PvE section of sound, it is actually really good, as like I said before, every move is a combo extender, so you can use this for PvE, for boss fights, and etc, etc. And for dungeon, the ultimate is actually pretty good, but I still don't think this is the top tier breathing. If anything, it needs a buff than a nerf. Now next up, we're gonna put beast right on the mediocre section above arrow. Just like thunder, beast is completely predictable, and you can combo extend just like any other demon art and breathing in this game. You can combo extend with it, and you can basically infinite combo if you have a dominable will. But the thing is with this breathing is that it's not that good for starting combos, and it's actually pretty hard to use for PvP. Now for PvE, it's just like most things in this game. It's okay to grind bosses. Like I said before early on in this video, most of the stuff in this tier list you can actually use for like grinding bosses and stuff like that. But honestly, when it comes to sound, mist, flame, and wind, beast does not best any of those. Next up is thunder, and thunder, oh my gosh, thunder needs some justice. Like, I'm not gonna lie, thunder is going on the okay section of this tier list. Thunder is so predictable. The only thing really good on thunder is the ultimate, which you cannot block if you can even get them with the ultimate, because you can kind of dodge it and it's kind of easy to miss. In all reality, thunder is terrible. It's really good for grinding, but it's terrible for PvP. If you just started the game and you're looking for a breathing between water, insect, thunder, and wind, I would probably choose either thunder or wind, because thunder is better for grinding in my opinion than wind, but wind is still pretty good for grinding and PvP at the same time. Now the only reason why I would pick thunder over wind is to just grind the hell out of the game until I'm in the second map to get a new breathing like flame or sound or mist. Putting water right behind thunder, as water is kind of the same thing as thunder. Pretty predictable, not that good for PvP. Sure, you can combo with it, but honestly, there is better choices like flame, wind, sound, mist. And with that, we only have insect left, which is going to go on the meh. If you have the Kocho clan, this breathing is actually decent, but it is so bad. Like, it's bad for PvP and it's terrible for grinding. It is completely terrible. Now some of you might say, oh, Tamari is better than insect. Oh, I feel like insect is just gutted right now. Insect gets no love. Nobody talks about insect. It's really bad. And with that being said, here is my tier list. I feel like this is probably one of the most controversial tier lists on the internet, but like I said before, it is really hard to make a tier list, as some things are better than other things, even if I say they aren't. And sometimes it just comes down to personal opinion. Like I said before, Akaza is better than Dream, or Dream is better than Akaza. It really depends on the player, as both of them, it's really how you utilize what you have, because like I said, a good Akaza player is better than a mediocre Dream player. But if we're talking about a player just being completely new to the game and a complete total NPC, then I feel like this is a pretty good standard tier list. And let me know down below in the comment section what your opinion is on this tier list, as I don't think this is the best tier list out, but I feel like it is a pretty solid tier list that will give you an idea of what you want and what you're looking for. Now if you're a demon that just started the game, go for ice, no questions about it. Just go for ice, okay? If you're a slayer who just started the game, Like I said before, I would either pick thunder or wind. And then once you get to the second map, you can go for something else like flame, mist, keep wind if you have it, or even sound. Sound isn't that bad, but it's not the best breathing in the game. And with all that, here's my tier list. I thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Like a fucking heat seeker. Off of the molly and the coke, she keep her. No, I really love her, but no, I don't need her. No, it sounds bad, but I never wanna leave her. Yeah, I've been in my bag for a long, long time. I've been going down the road, it's a long, long ride. And the only one I want is you, my side. We gon' split this shit up like it was apartheid.